Hi everybody. I'm going to do my video on mandated reporting this week. Apologies for my appearance, but I've got some nasty cold sores around my mouth after a cold I had last week. But anyway, yeah, in North Carolina, which is where I am in North Carolina, there are certain situations which North Carolina citizens have a legal duty to report abuse. Everybody has the duty to report cases where there is suspected child abuse or neglect by a parent, caretaker, or custodian, or where there is abuse, neglect, and exploitation of a disabled or elderly adult by the caretaker or family member. If it's by somebody who isn't any of those things, then it has to be DSS report it to law enforcement, or the citizen can just go ahead and report it to law enforcement. So for example, physicians and hospitals and healthcare facilities have to report immediately to law enforcement. School principals must report immediately to law enforcement if they have a knowledge of an act having happened, on the school premises. And photo processors and computer technicians have to report to law enforcement if they come across any images of a minor or who appears to be a minor involved in sexual activity. There is no statute in North Carolina to impose civil or criminal penalties for not reporting, but individuals may be held civilly liable or prosecuted for ignoring the statutory duty to report abuse or neglect. Of course, the law provides statutory protection for those people who are making the report. Prosecuting people is really not common, and in many cases it can be very difficult to prove. So I think I've already said that you only need reasonable cause to suspect the abuse, and the reports have to be made in the county, to the DSS in the county where the child or adult resides or was found. The report can be made orally or in writing. I was kind of doing a little bit of research on universal mandated reporting. I was looking at a report that had been written in 2010 with regard to it, and currently there are 18 states, I think, and Puerto Rico who have universal mandated reporting for child abuse. It's generally it was seen as a good policy, because for one thing it kind of gives family members an out for making a report, and also it has resulted in more accurate reports being given, because people have more a sense of civic duty. They don't want to break the law, and so that they will go ahead and make a report. They did find that those with the universal mandatory reporting laws, the rates of reporting were no higher, but the rates of substantiated reports were. And this possibly could be due to the fact that more professionals are writing reports, and they're getting more good information. So I thought that was a pretty interesting article. I have not personally had to deal with Child Protective Services or calling a report for a child abuse, but I have dealt with Adult Protective Services a number of times. I've had residents who were being financially abused, financially exploited, and I've called those in, and I've had people going home to very unsafe situations in the home. Some have been self-neglect, the person lives on their own. or it's been back to families who have been neglecting them. So I've called APS several times over the years. They've always been very prompt to go out and do a visit, and they've been very prompt to get back to me and let me know the status of the situation. So the other thing within long-term care is, we were bound also by the Elder Justice Act of 2010, and we call in thefts, for example, to the local police, and there is a non-emergency number that we use in our county. We make the report over the phone. We've also had residents, claim abuse, and the police have come into the building to interview. My only thing with that is police really need to be trained a little better in how to approach a person, especially one with dementia, who has an allegation of abuse. Not blaming the police, I just think that needs to be part of the training. And funnily enough, I think it was last Thursday. There was actually a community session on that very subject. That they had a fairly good turnout from the local law enforcement as well, so that was good and very much needed. So having said that, the Elder Justice Act did support legislation to include a home care ombudsman programme, and the Bill of Rights be extended to cover those people receiving care in the home. That's another area in which I think there's a huge gap, and there's certainly a need for a home care ombudsman. So hopefully in the future, not too long, something like that will be put in place. I'm sorry I've gone way over time, and hope you all have a good week. Okay.